Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. Folks, listen up. Do not attend any of the rallies on Saturday. I'm getting reports of dirty bombs and possible, viruses being spread. Do not, I repeat, do not attend any of these anti-America rallies. Bad things are going to happen. Folks, stay safe, stay home, like, comment, subscribe.
With violence from those who are announcing it online, and they're extremely organized. They have money coming in. Some of them are linked to nonprofit groups. So people really underestimate how organized they are and what they're trying to do. They're trying to turn this into a national insurrection, which is why we saw yesterday violence break out in New York City and in Seattle.
Again, I will fully admit, I have seen the evidence myself. They do have a funding connection with China, 100%. But even within the Party for Socialism and Liberation, which, by the way, isn't even the biggest leftist group that exists and is not the most dangerous leftist group that exists, it's just the one that conservatives are talking about the most. Even within that group, the local chapters of the PSL don't have access to that national funding. They're just people that are true believers in what they're doing. They're people that don't even have enough money to make photocopies of something within the budget of their group. Just because the national group has money doesn't mean the local groups have money. There's still a ton of true believers in there that are actually, they're not doing it because they're paid. They're doing it because they believe this.
Storyline or the plot line of a South Park episode. It feels like parody, but it's very much not. The left and their little stunts. It's like a comedy sketch in real life. We're watching these Democrat-funded riots pop off across the country, and people are starting to notice a very clear common denominator, and that's that the people who are attending these protests, well, they all seem to be waving Mexican flags, the flag of a foreign nation, which obviously isn't a good look and has been soundly and roundly ridiculed, basically since day one of Donald Trump's inauguration. Well, as per usual, the left is a little bit slow, a little behind the trend, a little late to the party.
What's the point of doing that at this point? Like, what's the point of tagging? I'm just asking. No, I wanted to know because, Old Vera Street, your thoughts on...
Get them the out of our city. If they don't stop, we're going to continue. We'll burn it all down.
I know, but vandalism, what does it do?
We burn it all down. You don't understand, stupid?
No, I'm not trying to be stupid.
You are.
Well, how come they're destroying the Mexican properties? The Mexican
property, bro.
Across the way at Old Vera Street.
I didn't do that.
Well,
this is their property.
Well, you should tell people to stop destroying.
I never touched a small business ever.
Okay.
Never. Only government property. Thank you, sir.
Gotcha.
We'll burn it all down. These are that's sort of the ideology of what we're facing. I think if the public is just consuming mainstream media and reading the headlines, you're coming out with the false impression again that these are peaceful protests or that these are racial justice protests, human rights protests, when what we have is a coalition of Mexican nationalist insurrectionists and also far left extremists and Antifa with a agenda of trying to bring the U.S. government to its knees if their demands are not met, and this is domestic terrorism.
What's interesting is that you have federal law enforcement being brought in to carry out federal immigration laws and actually find people who've broken those laws. So, it seems to me that what's going on is by the books, and the protests don't like that. They're okay with people coming into this country here illegally and staying, and in some cases, committing crimes. This all is very similar to what we've seen, at least the imagery that stands out, Andy, of the 2020 BLM riots that I know you covered closely and kept a close eye on. And but the Trump administration has a different approach this time, right? They're not hesitating to send in the National Guard until it's after the fact. So what do you think even you as a reporter has learned from covering the riots that happened just a few years ago compared to present day?
Right. So what we're seeing now is nothing new. The mob tactics are the same that we saw in 2020, that political violence. It's the same. And remember, in 2018, there were violent attacks on ICE property over lies at that time in the media over the first Trump administration's immigration policies. I think what we're seeing now that's different is that the Trump administration very quickly mobilized federal officers and agents to protect federal property, because if not, I suspect that these federal buildings that have been targeted in Los Angeles, Seattle, in Texas, in Atlanta, in New York City last night, they would probably be burnt to the ground.
And so now, finally, they've realized, oh crap, we look like complete idiots for protesting with the Mexican flag. And so now it seems we've got a bunch of DNC volunteers running around like headless chickens, trying to get protesters to swap the Mexican flag for an American one. You literally cannot make this stuff up.
My black brothers and sisters out there that are the ones that are posting all this, oh, we just gonna mind our business. And I saw somebody earlier making t-shirts of like a group of like 6 black people, black men and women sitting on a bench, texting on phones while the country is burning up behind them. Let me explain something to you guys. Let me explain something to you. When they get done with the brown people, they'll be coming after you. And if you don't think that's true, you got another motherfucking thing coming. You sit back and watch millions of brown people be kidnapped and removed from this country. When they do come after you, there's gonna be nobody left to stand up for you. Power to the people. It's time to come together.
Eminem's little brother, Skittles, everyone. So he's mad at black people who are not jumping on the hysterical bandwagon, because if they don't pay attention to what's happening to my skin folk, the brown people, then what's happening to us is going to happen to black people. Let's dissect this. Does he not realize that ICE are targeting people who came to this country? Say it with me now. Illegally. So if you came to this country illegally and were taking advantage of our system by lying to the government and pretending to be a legal citizen, but you're really not, then you are responsible for what's happening to yourself.
And all their groups saying, we are protesting here on this time. It's not entirely spontaneous because the organizing apparatus is already there. It is spontaneous in that they can decide to do something really last minute and they can still get a lot of people there because they have the organizing apparatus and because they already have all these partnerships with all of these other decentralized organizations that exist on the left. Now, a lot of people look at the left as a monolith. This is a fundamental mistake. There are groups who work well together on the left, and there are groups who don't play well at all on the left. There are groups who tend to be more violent on the left. There are groups that actually do tend to just be peaceful in their protesting. They may show up and be annoying, but they're usually not going to cause violence. The left is a giant spectrum of basically cells, for lack of a better term, that they choose when to work together and they choose when to go on their own. They choose what strategies to engage in. All these groups do operate usually separately from one another. Most of their funding sources are not going to be from NGOs. They're not going to be from USAID. Party for Socialism and Liberation and Breakthrough News and the People's Forum, they are an exception. Because the conservative influencers over on Twitter are saying they're all funded by the CCP. Well, there is absolutely a connection with China in that specific case. But don't make the mistake that Representative Anna Paulina Luna is making right now, because she's not looking into things and she's following clickbait content on Twitter.
You know what the you do?
What did I do?
You know you antagonize people? Oh, you're up.
No, I'm not doing anything.
Get the out of here. Just like the cops. Get the out of here.
Hey, I have a right to be here just like you.
Yeah, so do we, motherfucker.
Hey, I'm not.
So why the cops here? You're a fucking cop. That's what you
I'm
fucking
not the
are.
cop.
Yeah, you are. You
I'm a cop.
You want to do that shit?
Get out of here, bro.
What? I'm corner you, little bitch. Are you scared?
I'm not scared.
What
did I do?
You're a little you on mine.
Okay.
Oh, antagonizing right-wing ideology, motherfucker. This is our land, you get the out of here, dude.
Dude, I have every right to be here.
I don't give a not today. I'm the police. I'm telling you not to be here, motherfucker.